And we are back with another episode of the Badminton Experience. Episode number 63. And it's I feel like we have been postponing this episode for quite a while. Perhaps none of us really wanted to do it, but we gotta get it done. And it's a special one, Hans-Kristian.
It is, and it's a sad one. It's a sad one also in some ways, but yeah, as you say, we gotta do it. This is gonna be the final TBE episode, unfortunately.
With you
With
as a
me.
co-host.
Yes, correct.
I still have the ownership of the channel, and if I remember the password and stuff, I'm not sure I do, but then I can still log in and post a few episodes once in a while, maybe in the future.
You're more than welcome to do that. And I also feel a little bit bad because we actually owe all our viewers 2 episodes. Did you think about that?
Yeah, we haven't done the emergency episodes post my wins. Was it Denmark Open?
No, we did that one. That's the latest one we did.
Oh, okay. Then it was
So
China Masters and maybe King Cup.
King Cup, of course, like
Yeah.
the richest badminton tournament there is. Like it's the biggest prize money you won, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it for me personally it was my biggest price check, but I think if you win the World Tour Finals you'll receive a bigger
Yeah.
check compared to this one, but it was pretty decent and only had to play 3 matches instead of 5 matches. So yeah, so I guess we can talk about that maybe a little later in the episode because that was something fun and interesting.
Yeah, for sure. But should we just first explain why this is the last episode with me?
Yeah, I guess you should go ahead and do that, Hans-Kristian.
Yeah, I will. So since I have already started working a bit as the national men's singles coach here in Denmark, I find it maybe, I don't know if that's the correct word, but like kind of inappropriate if I do a lot of projects on the side with one of the players that is going to be involved in the team. Because at some point, I will also be one of the coaches selecting players and having to pick who's playing on different teams for Thomas Cup, European Team Championships, but also going to the World Championships, Olympics, and stuff like that. And I feel like it would be a little bit weird if I had something personal going on with one of the players on the side. I need to trust that all the players feel they have me on their side 100% and not that I'm 100% on someone else's side and maybe just 90 or 95 with all the rest of the guys. So it was a decision for me to try and handle my new job in a more professional manner. It's for sure got nothing to do with you, Anders, you know that, but also all the viewers in this project. Yeah, I think it's still a lot of fun to do these recordings. I still think it's a lot of fun to talk about badminton all the time, but I just don't see it being kind of compatible with my new job. So
No.
yeah, I guess
It
that's
makes
the
sense.
the
It
reason
makes
behind
sense,
it.
and also to talk freely about, different players. It might be weird in your new situation. So yeah, it makes perfect sense, and that was also my first thought when I saw that you got the job as the new men's singles coach for Denmark. That congratulations, but damn it might ruin the badminton experience from now on. But what is your new job, Hans-Kristian?
Yeah,
I
well,
just
so
mentioned it though.
yeah, but right now I'm only doing it part-time, but I did get hired as the men's singles head coach of Denmark. It's not exactly the job that Kenneth Jonassen had before because he was also head coach of like the entire uh, badminton Denmark national team. I am only responsible for the men's singles group. I didn't start full-time yet. I will on the 1st of June because until then I still have some commitments in my club and a few other commitments that I need to attend to also. But like this month, I already worked. I think I just counted up like 35, 40 hours. So I'm doing quite a lot already in the new job. But until I start full time, we have this guy Jonas Lyduk, who was an assistant before. He is in charge of the men's singles. So yeah, exciting opportunity, and not an opportunity that I really kind of expected to get already so soon into my active retirement, if you can call it.
Yeah, because how many years is it now since you? I mean, has it even been a year or two
Yeah.
since
Well,
you retired from playing?
I played my last international tournament in November 23. So yeah, 1.5 years now. But I basically got the job offered 10 months after my last international tournament. And it was my intention to keep on playing on like national level, play leagues and do kind of what I've done for the past year, coach part-time in a club and with the Polish Federation. So I wasn't planning on going full-time coaching already. But I also, like, I was a little bit afraid also with the commitment and all the travel and stuff. But I also came to the conclusion that this job opportunity is not something you get like every year. Kenneth was the last one in charge of the men's singles. He was in the position for 11 years. So if I declined now, like when would I get the chance next? You never really know. And for sure, I think it's an really, really exciting job, exciting task. So I was reluctant at first, but as soon as I made the decision, I've been extremely excited about get going. And to be honest, right now, I just want to get into it full time. Right now, I'd say a little bit annoyed actually that I'm not able to give my 100% already. I would just like to get all my ideas and start working hard as soon as possible. So that's also why I'm trying to be there as many hours as possible, even though it's not my full-time profession right now.
It's very interesting. I mean, and you and I are going to have a different kind of relationship from now on because you are going to be my national coach, right? So it's 1 second. I just need to don't disturb. Thank you. Cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, you better start
how
behaving nicer when you talk to me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've been thinking about that. I mean, I remember one of the first days after we got the news that you had the job. I think you were just standing courtside and just watching one of our practice sessions, and it was kind of like a little bit weird because you just went from being one of us, like one of the players, and now you're kind of like an authority. Although, I mean, in Denmark we are pretty equal with the coaches and the players. It's not like there's a huge gap between us. I mean, we talk to each other how we would talk to a friend or something like that. But still, it was kind of like, as you mentioned, at some point you are going to do some selection for the different championships, and I mean, and that can what do you say? That can do some damage to a friendship, of course. And that's a very, very different situation suddenly. But yeah.
For sure, it was also one of the things that I was considering when I was contemplating my options, like should I take the job or not? Like had I been away from the environment long enough, because actually since I quit playing internationally, I've still been part of the training once or twice a week as a sparring player, and like I would still consider some of the players there my friends. So I did for sure consider if that was going to be an issue. But I think I also came to the conclusion that like most of the guys that are still in the men's singles group now, like there's a pretty large age gap from me, and those guys like Gimke is the one closest to me, but still there's a pretty big gap, and I've never been close in the same way as I've been with you now and with this project also. So I think it's not going to be a huge issue, but I'm also aware that I need to have some talks about this with you, also with Victor, and also with Gimke actually about how we handle it. But I'm pretty sure over time that it will be fine. It's just it will always be a little bit weird or awkward at first. But I actually also spoke to Kenneth about it because I know he was in a similar situation when he took over the job. He didn't go straight from being a player in the Danish national team, but almost like he was also gone only for, I think, also a year actually, where he was coaching in a Danish club before coming back. So he still had a guy like Peter Gade as a player, whom he had been fighting with for gold medals and being the best Danish men's singles for many years. So I've tried to get some good advice from him also how to handle this.
But I'm used to having close work relationships with friends and family, so it's no
You're very much into that kind of kind of
Yeah.
thing.
It's no issue for me. How did you feel about taking over from Kenneth? Because obviously he's been extremely successful, and he's been the one courtside when Victor has been winning all of his championships, and the Thomas Cup victory in 2016, and he's definitely leaving behind a crazy legacy. So, and the situation right now is very, very different, with the players practicing in the national training center and stuff. So how do you feel about taking over from Kenneth, and also just the challenge in general with men's singles in Denmark as it is right now?
Yeah, for sure. He also won a couple of world championship medals with you, right? So he's done an amazing job, and of course it adds some pressure in some way. And I feel not only from Kenneth's side, but also like the entire history we have in men's singles in Danish badminton. Like, we have produced world-class badminton players before you guys as well, and before Gator, and like it's been like that since the 70s basically. So it is a job that comes with a lot of pressure. But I also think that right now is a pretty nice time to take over, because both you and Victor are out of the system basically. So it means that the level is a bit lower at the national center. It's more about the younger guys, and we have to try and find a way to develop them. So I feel like the pressure to perform right now is a little bit less, because it's not my responsibility with the daily work with you and Victor, who are the biggest candidates for winning medals at the moment. So I feel I have some time at least to try and get my ideas developed, and get these this young group to develop as a group and get closer to the world class level. Because I'm very aware that the current group we have, there's no one who's like hugely likely to just win, be world number one in the next month or two. It's nothing like that. It's a long-term project. We have players with potential. We have Gemke there, who's also world class. We have Magnus, who 1 year ago already made it into top 32. So we have very good players, but it's a long-term thing. And because of that, and I feel like, I have less pressure actually. And I'm not thinking so much about Kenneth's legacy, to be honest. I think he was in a different position when he took over compared to mine now. And it also gives me some comfort to know that he was in the job for 11 years. Before him, Lars Ure was in the job for a long time. So usually you are given a lot of continuity and a long time to work with things in this position. So I feel quite calm about it, to be honest. And I think it also comes from the fact that I trust my own ability. I don't want to sound arrogant or anything, but I feel like I've seen a lot from different generations. I think I've had not a long period, but the last 1.5 years where I worked in my club and the Polish national team, I already feel like I developed a lot of skills as a coach. I'm not saying I'm finished product as a coach in no way, but I do trust my own ability to adapt into the role and help create an environment where we can create world-class players. So yeah, I feel calm and confident about it, but of course there's pressure to deliver within a certain time frame.
I'm thinking that you have been a player under Kenneth forever basically. All his time in the Danish system, you have been there as well. So what you can do is just copy paste his training methods and everything, and if it don't work, you can just blame it on Kenneth's methods.
True.
How much you as you mentioned, you haven't been a coach for that long. And I guess it's difficult not to be very inspired by the way Kenneth has been handling the training, because you can see that it has definitely been working for Jan, you, Victor, me, Gemge, and so on. That he has been able to create great players with his way of training. How inspired would you say you are from him, or do you feel like you have made like your own identity as a coach yet, or how was that?
I would say for sure I'm very inspired by Kenneth. For me, he is the best coach I've worked with ever. So there's lots of things that I will try to do in a similar way, but I also feel like me and Kenneth in many ways are similar, but there are also things where we are different people, has different personalities. So I'm very aware that I don't want to do it one to one like Kenneth did, and I also don't think it would work because again, Kenneth was working with a different group of players than I am. I think it's a much younger group that I need to try and build up. So I also need to handle it a bit differently. I also think times are changing in the ways that, for example, you and Victor, you're not part of the group. You're the two best players in Denmark. It was never like that in the past. So it's also a different situation that we need to handle. So in that way, it's you cannot just copy it one to one. It's definitely not my intention to. But there are also things that I think I've seen that was working in the past, which is a little bit gone in terms of how we go about our training, that I would like to get back on the training. So in that way, there are things that are inspired by when we produced our best results. I want to try and recreate that in the daily training environment, and you can say that's very inspired by how Kenneth did things. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. One thing I would say Kenneth was extraordinary at was managing like 5-6 different players who were at totally different places in their life and in their career. Like he had players like you and Jan, who was some of the older guys going downhill. No, I'm kidding.
True.
But he had Victor, who was in like the mid range in terms of age, and then he had me and Rasmus, who was coming up, and making sure that everyone in the training got the attention that they needed, and he was able to kind of like make sure that everyone had their specific focus on the practice as well. So I think that was pretty impressive how he was able to handle like that group where we were all so different.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's the one key thing I always highlight when people ask what was like why he's a good coach. I think he's so good at individualizing how you're training, and that's also why I say I don't think I can copy things one to one, because there's not one blueprint to how you become a world-class badminton player. It's different for you compared to Victor, and if you compare it to Gemke and Magnus and the younger guys, they will need to be nurtured in different ways to achieve their full potential. So it is going to be an ongoing process for me. Also, I don't think I have all the answers for exactly how I'm gonna do things. I have a lot of ideas how we can do things better than they are right now, but I think for sure that I will need to learn along my time there. And I hope I can also spar a lot with the guys that are already there who are not working with the men's singles, but like Thomas Stavngard, who's now the head coach, Jesper Holgaard, who's the doubles coach, Anders Kristian, who just got hired as the women's doubles coach, but a guy I have a lot of respect for because I worked with him in my club for the past year. So I think we have a good team where I can get some sparring and hopefully I learn along the way. I'm not sitting here and thinking I already have a blueprint and it's just going to be like this and we're just going to go with that. I want to be and stay pretty flexible in terms of finding the right direction for every single player.
It's interesting. I feel I really get your point with. I mean, you're not going to have that issue that Kenneth had, like managing 5 different players who at different places in their life. You have basically only young players, and you need to build the future, which must be exciting. And I think actually Kenneth is kind of like in the same situation in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Because Lisi Jar is not attending their training either, and they don't really have any older guys in the practice. It's all young players, and he also needs to create the future for Malaysian badminton. I got to attend his very first session in Malaysia.
Cool. How was that?
Yeah, it was fun. He arrived a little bit late because I think he had to drop off his family in the airport or something. So he was only there for the last part of the practice, just watching basically. But
Okay.
yeah, but it was fun. I was there the week before he came, and then I had a few sessions there the week after he arrived. And during that week, they apparently had like I think he said it's like a Danish week. So we tried to do things as he
The
would
Danish
do
way.
it back in Denmark, the Danish way. So that was it was fun to see like the very very different ways of approaching a training session.
Yeah, it's
And
very interesting to see how he's gonna approach that job. Like, because obviously, I don't think he's gonna copy one to one how we're doing things in Denmark either. Like, you will probably have to adjust to to the differences in culture and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. Did you talk to him about that?
yeah, we spoke. We went out for dinner as well, and it was very interesting to hear about his new situation. I don't know how much I can,
No, it's
you know,
fine.
I
Fair enough.
probably can't reveal much, but no, that was good to catch up with him as well, and obviously wish him all the best.
Yeah.
But in terms of having to create the future and building up young players, he has a very exciting task, I must say, because when I arrive at BAM at 6:45 in the morning, the juniors I think they're about to end their first session of the day, and there's just like 12, 14 young players just, doing skills at the net or doing some drills. And it's just like, wow, there's just so many players, there's so much potential, and it must be overwhelming, but also very, very interesting. I mean, what can we do with all this this talent? And you don't have the same in Denmark. You don't have them at the national center from that age. You might get them when they're 17, 18, 19 or something if they are good enough. So it's a way different job.
Yeah, and the quantity is for sure also much smaller in Denmark. Like, you won't get the same number of players at the young age with that kind of.
No, it's interesting.
It is.
I had something I wanted to ask you about, but now I might remember it a little bit later.
If you think about it, just
if it
ask.
pops up, I will. I will. But
If
what
nothing
else?
else,
Yeah. Go ahead.
yes. Then I would like to change the subject. If you are
Okay.
done, if it pops up in your mind again, anything else about me and my coaching
Yeah.
situation, just ask. But I would like to
It's
hear
the
about.
most interesting for now. But
For sure.
okay.
But I
Let's
would
move
love
on.
to hear about King's Cup actually. I know you also won China Masters, and that's great, and congratulations and everything. That's just every day now. You win stuff like that. But no, I think it was really interesting to follow this King's Cup, also with the social media presence and online and everything. It looked like an event that was just in many ways different from a normal tournament. Like, what was your experience from that week?
Yeah. So just to give some context to the King Cup, it's 8 players who was invited to play a men's singles tournament. So the draw was random. Everyone could face everyone in the first match. You started from the quarterfinal and just basically knockout stage from there. And it was played in Shenzhen, China, from the 27th of December to the 29th. And so that meant that after the World Tour finals, I stayed out in Asia. I did not go home to Denmark for Christmas. And I sent Casper, my brother, home for Christmas. So I spent some time out there, not alone. I brought out another coach to help me and keep me company. But I also had a few days basically alone during the Christmas days and stuff. And there was times where I was like, what am I doing? Why did I say yes to this event? So it was tough. It was tough, especially during the 24th of December, when your family is gathered back home together, and I was in a hotel room in Hong Kong alone, just practicing twice a day, just trying to stay dialed. And anyways, I signed up. So not much to do about it. So I went to Shenzhen to play this King Cup, and I must say immediately I got a very nice vibe. We got treated very well, us players. We had a big hotel suite. The hotel was amazing. We had a volunteer helping us around with everything we needed all the time. We had a personal car, a personal driver. Yeah, I didn't get to use the training facilities much. I only used the hall for warm up before the matches. But it was like I think it was called the Lin Dan Gymnasium or something. So it was pretty nice, and he had all sorts of nice equipment like hyperbaric chamber and a nice gym that we could use, and there was like a massage therapist available all the time. So just in general, I would say they took really good care of us players, and I think I said it in one of my blogs as well. I think that's what you can do when there's only 8 players. Like, you can give them flight tickets and great accommodation, and they provided business class flight tickets as well, which was I didn't get to use that because I just drove. Just drove there. So yeah. Anyways, just overall, it was a fun. Also, the playing experience was nice.
I was just gonna ask about that.
Yeah.
Because
the
you had.
was sorry.
Go on. No, go on.
I just said that the arena was beautiful, and the way they built this big entrance where it was like this big King Cup sign, and then you entered from a door, and there was a DJ playing live music all the time.
Okay.
So basically, in between the rallies as well.
All right.
So if there was like a short break, he started to play music, and they had a hype man hyping up the crowd, and so I guess the crowd never really felt bored. In between the matches, they did some exhibition stuff with Lin Dan, Taufik, Leon Day. So,
yeah. I was just gonna ask about the crowd because as we briefly mentioned, you won the China Masters, and it's safe to say you weren't the most popular guy in the building during that week.
No, not that week. That was the World Tour Finals.
That was the World Tour Finals. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you weren't the most popular guy in the building with the Chinese crowd. So like, what was the experience like in Shenzhen? Did the crowd bring that with them, or did you kind of start afresh there?
I won the China Masters in Shenzhen. The World Tour Finals was played in Hangzhou.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that the Shenzhen crowd liked me, and I feel like they did. I feel like they did. And I did my best to bring a positive energy to the King Cup. Obviously, I was a little bit like, how is this going to play out? But I would say the crowd and the fans was actually amazing during the whole week. They were very loud. They really enjoyed the show, I felt like. And I did my best to, as mentioned, have a positive energy, smile a little bit extra, and try to create some fun rallies as well. Even though we were playing for a big prize, I still wanted to have fun during the matches, and I saw it as an opportunity to play a little bit more freely and engage with the crowd in a fun way a little bit more. So I feel overall I was very, very happy with the way the crowd treated me in Shenzhen.
Yeah. Do you feel like, so now you said that you could play a bit more freely, do you still feel like you could use the tournament also in terms of like your overall game? Like do you kind of feel like it was a good like training opportunity? I don't know if you can call that, but do you feel like you took anything away from the tournament?
Definitely some very, very good matches. I think I played very good. I played against Kulabut in the first round, and it wasn't like, oh, this is an exhibition, we're just having fun. I think we played some extraordinary badminton. Just similar to when I play against him in every other tournament. Then I was able to defeat Alex Lanier in the second round, which I haven't done before. And that was also a difficult match. So I approached it almost like a regular BWF tournament. And the final match was one of the most memorable matches of the year, I would say. I was playing against the the reigning World Junior Champion from China. And I've never watched him play before, only the 2 matches prior to the final. And I could see that he had some very good skills at the net. He was strong in the quick, fast, flat exchanges. And he had a good attack and was just very aggressive, young guy, bringing, you know, all his energy. And it was really, really a challenging match. I lost the first game and was able to really, really grind my way back into the match. And we, you know, the one thing missing maybe about this tournament was the challenge system.
I was not going to bring it up, but now you did it yourself.
So that was a challenge as well, playing against, you know, a young guy like that, just bringing everything, all his energy and excitement. And he has probably been watching me throughout his whole life, so he was probably well prepared. And I had to kind of figure him out as we went on during the match. And then with all the obstacles of maybe some line calls and some I got called fault a few times at some very crucial times. Stuff like that where I felt like, okay, I got absolutely everything against me right now, but I needed to find a way, and I was without coach and everything. So that was I was super proud that I was able to win that match, actually.
Yeah, I understand. It's also kind of capped off a pretty spectacular year for you.
Yeah, definitely. Ever since the Denmark Open, it's been absolutely amazing. I know that I lost here in Indonesia in the first round match, but I think I won Denmark Open, China Masters final in the World Tour finals, won the King Cup, and then final at the Malaysia Open. So it's been an incredible run that I've had together with my brother Casper, my new coach. So yeah, we either lose in the first round or we go all the way to the final. Yeah. That's all we have been doing so far. So no, it's been crazy. Yeah.
The first round match is pretty crucial in all tournaments.
Yeah, we just need to get past that one.
Yeah.
Then it will be okay from there. But no, I really try every single time I have had one of these tournaments. Like, I don't expect it to happen right away, because usually it's like, okay, if I win a tournament, it will be 6 months, then I may do it again, maybe. It's just been going so fast, everything the last 3 months. But I don't expect this is like the new normal for me. I hope so, and I try to convince myself that if I do everything as good as I can reach the final again, even though, like, statistically it seems crazy that I should do that. But yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah. I just had one final thing from King Cup that I wanted to ask you about. Yeah. How good did Lindan and Taufik look on court? Like, are they still like the two of the kings of badminton?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I got to play some exhibition after the final, which was super tough. We just played for 90 minutes, then I had 5 minutes to take a quick shower, and then I had to go back on court again, and I was almost cramping in my quads and stuff.
What did you have to play?
Just some I don't know, maybe 1 set to 11 points or something.
Doubles or 3 against 3?
Yeah, doubles. I played with Lindan, and my opponent from the final played with Taufik. But then after a few rallies, suddenly Lindan swapped himself out with one of the guys in the crowd, and it was Bao Chunglai.
Okay. Nice.
And I was like, I was very young when Bao Chunglai was playing on the tour. But I definitely recognized, isn't that that's Bao Chunglai? So I got to play with him as well. So
okay, cool.
And Leon there,
was he still playing well, Bao Chunglai?
Yeah, I think so. I think he was the better player on our side of the net because I was so tired. So he was. He said something to me. We spoke a few words very quickly, like he was showing my matches to his students, maybe, or something like that. Yeah. I didn't really get it, but that was a fun experience. But we just had a very quick exchange. We didn't get to talk much, but Linda and I ran into like multiple times throughout the week. He came like before the matches and said good luck, and after the matches and stuff like that. So that was that was pretty cool. He's still the man, looking sharp, always dressed well, and I tried to. I don't know if you saw my gala dinner outfit. I tried to hit the Linda and vibe with the Ray-Ban shades and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that. I think you look pretty solid.
It's good. That's good to hear.
Is it like as a world number 2? Do you still get starstruck when you see a guy like Lindan, or not at all?
Like starstruck? No, not really.
No.
But it's cool. I mean, it's I would
I don't know.
love to be
Starstruck is maybe also the wrong word, but just like, do you feel that it's special because he is who he is?
Yeah, sure. He definitely has a vibe around him. Like he's the man, that's for sure. And people really look up to him. But I would just love if I was able to talk with him a little bit and have just like 10-15 minutes. But I think the language barrier is he's not able to speak English, and I can't speak Mandarin other than a few phrases that I learned here and there. But it could be interesting. I mean, a man like that have so much experience and knowledge. So
yeah, for sure.
Anyway,
for sure.
Hans-Kristian,
Cool.
I have some questions.
All right, shoot.
Because the Badminton Experience with Anders Antonsen and Hans-Kristian Vittinghus is having its last episode today, which is sad. What is the best memory you have had during the Badminton Experience?
Yeah, that is a good question that I thought was maybe coming. Of course, it's always hard to single out one thing. One thing I would say in general is that I've always enjoyed the guest episodes a lot. I think they've been so much fun. And I think it's been a great opportunity to actually get to know some of our opponents, but some of the other players on the tour much better in a way that you don't really get. Like when we are at tournaments, you don't really talk that much as friends or colleagues. Like of course, you see each other during warm up and breakfast and all this kind of stuff, but you don't really talk in depth. And I think that's been a really, really cool experience. I think especially Lisi Jia, he's been great for the Badminton Experience. A couple of times we've had him on, but also the talk with Ginting in Bali. I thought that was a lot of fun. But I think actually the one that I remember the best is the one with Lakshya in Odense for Denmark Open, and I think it's mainly because he did this joke on me. Where we were talking about the hotel they stayed in, and they stayed in a hotel called Cabin, which has tiny hotel rooms. And he made a joke about it was so small that his bags had to be outside of the room on the hallway. And I believed it at first, and I was like, "What? Yeah. No, that's disgraceful." And then he was like, "It's just a joke." And it kind of stuck with me. Like I felt so embarrassed that I could fall for that one. But it's just one example, because I think in general all those talks with the guests were really, really interesting. I also have great memories of the one we did with Peter Gator in a Millet Copenhagen restaurant. I think that was very interesting as well. So yeah, many great experiences. What about you?
Yeah. I will say definitely the 3 weeks we had in Bali. We did some great episodes, and that was kind of like the first time we had these episodes where they really blew up in terms of numbers and viewership numbers. And we didn't really knew what to expect when we were talking with Lisi Jia and Ginting and Polly as well, and because they never really did these interviews, and we were actually also a little bit in doubt how great their English skills were, if they could speak properly, so we could have like a good conversation. So I remember being a tiny bit nervous before these episodes, like how is this dynamic going to be? And I'm very sure that the guests were very nervous as well, because they told me like that they've never done anything like that before, like a podcast where it's just like a running conversation. So those episodes were great. I also feel like the one we did with Taufik Hidayat was very, very interesting as well. And just the fact that we were able to get such a huge name, like one of the biggest legends of the sport, sit down and talk with him at late night. But also I would say we did some great episodes and had some great talks on camera, but we had some amazing talks after the shows. Like when the cameras that's where when we maybe got a little bit further into some of the conversations, which was very interesting. And we got to know like, okay, these Asian players is actually thinking some of the same things that we do in Denmark, and we have been discussing for years about the structure of the, BWF and tournament calendar, and, just what we struggle with, they do as well. And that was really when we got to learn these different players a bit better. I also remember the one with Marcus Gideon. We had some great talks with him afterwards as well. So that was yeah.
I think you make a great point, because it's not so often that we see Asian players like challenge these things publicly. Like they are a bit more respectful or true to authorities compared to us. Like we are often a bit more open-mouthed. Like we say whatever we want, basically. In media, they are often a bit more careful. So I think that's a very good point, actually, that I hadn't thought about in the same way.
But also the feeling of sitting down with these players and having the feeling like, okay, they are a little bit nervous, they're a little bit tense, but then seeing them actually feeling very happy afterwards, like, wow, this was fun, this was a great experience, we could do this again. And then some of them, texted me like, thanks bro, this was awesome, this was fun. And it was nice for me to see that they actually got it boosted their confidence or something like that, and they had a good time. So
yeah, definitely. And I think also with Lisi Jia that he wanted to come back. So like I guess that also proves that it was good experience for these guys.
Another question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Now you said like our best memory, but do you have any like regrets with the podcast? Things that we didn't get to do, or you would have liked to do in a different way? You still have the chance to do it with someone else, but so this can also work as a teaser for anyone watching that maybe this could be part of a future episode. I don't know. I have one, so I can.
Yeah. Any regrets? I would just say maybe the lack of consistency. I think there at times you were busy, I was busy. I was also at a point where I was trying to put all my attention into just getting back to becoming a good player again, and actually just being able to play badminton, because I was injured, frustrated, and everything. So I felt like I can't do vlogs, I can't do podcasts. I need to put all my attention into getting injury free. So that maybe led to some inconsistency. I mean, it's also like we never made any money from doing this. I mean, we sold a tiny bit of merch at some point.
But yeah, compared to how much money you actually spend on equipment and stuff, and it's not something where we made money. On the contrary, it has been an investment instead.
But I feel like the last few years we've just been doing it because we felt it was fun, and I also get a kick out of getting the great feedback that I feel like we always get from doing these episodes, even though if it's 10,000 people watching or if it's 200,000 people watching. I feel like the majority of the comments is always positive. People listening seem to enjoy what we talk about, and it is one of the very, very few platforms where some of the players have had a chance to get interviewed, not like with a typical journalist and stuff like that. So yeah.
I think the one thing that I would have liked to do that we never did was to have a Chinese player on, and I really regret that we never got to speak to Sheng Wei. He's obvious that with his English being so good. But yeah, we never really got to do it. But I think it would have been really, really interesting because of all the same stuff that you just mentioned, that we had the feeling with the Bishija, Ginting, Polly, and all the others, that like I'm sure the Chinese players, they also have the same thoughts and feelings as we do in some regards at least. And I think it would have been really interesting to have him or someone else open up about that, because like when I say that we don't really talk a lot to the Asian players at tournaments, I guess the Chinese is probably the ones that we speak the least to, because there's very often a big language barrier, and with Feng Wei, there's obviously not a language barrier anymore. So I would have liked to have had him on at some point, but maybe you can do that in the future with someone else, or just you and him. I'll wait and see. I'll watch it for sure if you do.
If I bring him on, maybe you should show up as like a special guest.
That's the deal. I'll do that.
Maybe you can still attend once in a while. Just we make sure it's nothing. You don't need to talk about the Danish players. No selections, everything.
See.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
What do you think I should do with the Badminton Experience moving on, Hans-Kristian?
I think you should record short interviews with players. So instead of doing like 1 hour interviews with our episode, as we have done, if you don't have a co-host, just do small talks, 15, 20 minutes. I still think that would be really interesting with some of these other players, especially for the viewers. But I also think for you, because as you just said, it's also the talks after that are actually inspiring for you, or a nice experience, and you would still get that even if it's just a 15 or 20-minute interview you're going to do with those guys. I don't know if you can be consistent with that, but that will also take a little bit less work if you only have to do a 15-minute setup instead of a 1 hour setup. So I would hope you did that. I had my own podcast before, as you guys all know, a year or two at Vittinghus, where I also did interviews with players, and I always enjoyed that. I think there's a different atmosphere when we've been two hosts compared to just one-on-one talks, but it's been, I would not say just as much fun, but it's definitely also been a lot of fun doing that way. So if you don't find another co-host, I think that would be a good way for you to go.
I'll consider it. Yeah. I'll let people leave a comment in the section. Let me know what do you guys think. Should I keep it alive? Should I do some shorter interviews with players? Maybe I should just do some solo episodes, just me talking. You have been doing that for, as you say, with the year two with Vittinghus. Maybe you should start to stream on Twitch or something.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to make any promises, because I know I can't keep them. I also have the vlog channel that I need to get active again. Damn it!
Yes, so many things to do, and you need to do your practice as well. And it's a tough life, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah, someone's got to do it. No, I would say we'll see what I will do from here. I remember when I first started to play around with YouTube, I did this. I think I did one episode. It was called the AA Show with Srikanth Kidambi.
I remember that one.
Where I sat down with him and talked for 15 minutes. So maybe I will get back to something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Your interviewing skills now are very good, so you can do that for sure.
Yeah. Back then I needed to prepare and stuff. Nowadays I don't prepare. But that's also because I have you. I know that you are just that tiny bit more prepared than me. So I can just show up. Anyways, Hans-Kristian, I think we need to wrap up. I will try to keep the podcast alive for the time where you decide to retire from your job, and then we will continue from there. You are back to the podcast right away.
Deal. But it's been a huge pleasure, and as you said, we've really appreciated all the comments and feedback we've gotten from everyone watching, both on the channel, but also when they've been reaching out to us via Instagram or something else. It's she said we didn't make money from this, but I still feel like we've been rewarded with some very nice interactions with all the followers that we have. So at least on my behalf, I want to say thanks for all that feedback and just for being part of why it's been fun for us to do this.
100%. And from me as well, thank you so much to everyone who has been listening, watching, commenting, everything. As mentioned, we don't know yet what's going to happen, so please stay tuned if I'll keep it a little bit more consistent or keep it going. And to you, Hans-Kristian, thanks for joining the Badminton Experience. I'm happy that you said yes when I first approached you, or what is it, 4 years ago. So it's been a good run. Maybe we'll do something in the future again. But now you are my national coach and I'm your player. So
yeah. So I wish you all the best.
See you guys, and see you, Hans-Kristian.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.